So I just watched Disney's new movie Prey, and it's the prequel to the Predator franchise that I've been waiting a long time to see. Like I've been hyped for this movie for quite a while, and I just want to break it down a little bit, give my thoughts. It came out just today, uh, and I thought it was pretty good. In all honesty, I think it came out quite nice. I liked most of the film. I have very few critiques about it. So yeah, I just want to talk about it here. Um, First thing I want to get out of the road is the CGI. I think that's my biggest gripe with this film. It's bad. Most of it is bad. The few scenes, that look good are just like a couple shots where the predator's cloaked and a couple kills here and there. Actually, most of the human kills are pretty good. I won't get into spoilers, of course, but the CGI only really looks good when it's combat and when it's the predator using its cloaking tech, but even that is kind of shocking at times, so it is what it is. That would be my biggest gripe. Aside from that, I think this movie is excellent. It's set in like Native American time, and you follow a tribe of Comanche people, like a hunting party, and you've got this protagonist that you see in the trailer and all that, and it's just your standard like prove your worth kind of story, got to kill your first beast, which in this case is a predator. Pretty crazy stuff. It's a 90-minute film, which I think is great. I love 90-minute movies, your Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Scream, all that. It fits perfectly for this, and I'll just get the director. This guy did 10 Cloverfield Lane. Yeah, Dan Trachtenberg. Excellent film, 10 Cloverfield Lane, if you haven't seen it. Oh, it's great. So he did this movie, he did the Predators prequel, and they couldn't have picked a better dude for it, right? Like, it came out great. All the suspense was nice, all the kind of like horror motifs and like different cinematography. Mwah, chef's kiss, it's beautiful. Very nice, like appealing to look at, very like pleasing film. All the colors are nice. It's like got this very like muted look, like it's nothing too saturated, nothing too like dark, nothing crazy. It just is what it is, like very greens and blues centric with like your oranges, like your standard teal and orange color grading, that kind of stuff. But it really works for here. Like it looks so grounded and like meaty when you actually get the predator action and all that and all the gore and whatnot. Very nice. Predator itself has had a redesign, which I think looks great. Again, no spoilers, but the facial structure is pretty different. Its posture is kind of like crooked neck, like it really comes at you like this. It's like walking around and stuff, and it's like got its wrist blades and all that. It's pretty sick. It's big as well. They really do a good job of like. There's one scene where our protagonist, she like picks up a branch and puts it against the predator's footstep because she's tracking it, and then breaks it off and is holding up like most of the branch, being like, damn, this thing's huge, right? Like if this is the footprint of this beast, what belongs to it, and sprinkled all throughout the start of the movie before we really see some predator action are these, again, horrific CGI, but the storytelling itself is pretty strong. It's these like progressing up the food chain kind of sequences, if that makes sense. So like the first one we see is an ant crawls along this predator and it's invisible, so it looks like the ant's flying. It's pretty sick. Which then like a mouse eats that ant, and then the mouse is eaten by a snake. So like you get like this very natural progression of like prey and predator, duh, namesake, and then the predator kills the snake, right? Like, is this the top creature on this planet? I don't know what to expect. So it's like working its way up the food chain, eventually getting to the Comanche and the French settlers as like human combatants. And then following that a little later, towards like just before the second act, is like a rabbit being hunted by a wolf, and like most of the start is just real, like it's just a real wolf, real rabbit, and then it goes into some kind of dodgy CG. I thought it looked pretty good, the wolf. I wasn't taken out of it too much. And then the predator fights this wolf, and then the penultimate before, we get the people conflict, is this predator fights a bear. You see it in the trailer, but there's like an actual conflict, which I won't spoil, but it's got like this really good shot, like that'll make sense for people who've seen it, and it like reveals the predator a little bit, and you're like, damn, this is pretty sick. There's a couple tie-ins with the rest of the franchise that I really appreciate. Pretty big Predator fan, so it's like the spray from I think it's the second movie. I don't think, I know it's the second movie. He uses that to like clean up the wolf skull, so it's like the wolf head, and then he like sprays it and all the flesh melts away, and it's just the skull. That's like the jelly. Actually, that's more akin to the jelly used in Requiem, that god awful movie that I quite like. When like they disintegrate the xenomorphs and all that. It's much similar to that. And then he's got the healing like med kit from like all the Predator movies essentially. But the arsenal is completely different. It's changed to match the time, which I think that's a nice detail. No plasma caster. It's more like this gun that he holds out, where he's still got like the 3 lasers, but the 3 lasers like track, and then it shoots like these magnetically suspended bolts. They like holds it out, and like the laser's like, yeah, go that way, and he shoots the bolt, and it like guides the bolt, which functions like a primitive plasma caster, which is pretty cool. And then he's got like this big bladed club thing that like splits into 2, so it's like a mini axe and like the combat spear from the second movie, more or less. So it's like a 2-for-1 kind of deal. He's got like a shield, which is pretty sick. You see that in the trailer as well. A few other things here and there, but the choreography is what is strong here. You got like a lot of like deflecting and disarming and like flipping around your opponent like your combatant. Kind of looks like judo almost. There's one really good part where they're fighting in like this ashy forest, and it's the French settlers versus the Predator, and one of the guys, he's like, "Suke bleu," and he's like hyping himself up, ready to fight the Predator, and he just picks up a bear trap and like bear traps this dude's head. He just collapses, like a little spray of blood. Pretty cool. It's got an MA rating, which is, I can't remember if the last 2 being The Predator and Predators had the MA rating, but they definitely make the most of it in this one. Nice amount of gore, but it's not all on screen either. They like show the aftermath more often than not. Like there's this really nice scene where there's like this field full of bison that the French have skinned, and it's pretty vivid imagery, and it's really well done. But yeah, 90-minute movie, all around good story, good pacing. The Predator's pretty badass, to be honest. All the combat, all the fighting's cool. There's one like highlight right at the start of the film as well, and that's the title card. They actually do like an old school title card where she's like tracking, she's kind of having like the first interactions with this thing, gets to like a cliff edge, and then she doesn't see this. This is like separate of her. This is from a different perspective. We see like the invisible Predator ship fly overhead, like it's cutting through the clouds, and there's like smoke and lightning behind it, getting ready to like depart from his ship. And yeah, that's cutting through the clouds, and then the camera pans up from the clouds, and then it's the Prey like logo. It's like 20th Century Fox and directed by Dan Trachtenberg. Very nice. It looks really good in practice. The score as well. I am very keen to go back and actually watch this movie with proper headphones in, because the score punches very hard. It's really heavy hitting. All the motifs are awesome. Really add like just that nice little flavor, like that depth that you want in a movie. But I'm stoked that this movie's actually good, because I thought Shane Black's The Predator had good moments, looked cool, kind of, but as a movie is not good. And 2011, 13's whenever it came out, 2010, Predators, I think it's a cool movie, but neither of them compared to this. This is actually a good movie. This is a good movie, and it's good because it's not just good because it's Predator, it's just a good movie. It feels like it's got a lot of fan service and it has the Predator in it, but I feel like they've distanced themselves from the franchise enough that the movie really holds its own kind of thing. Like, oh yeah, look, we know this. It's got the wrist blades. It's got the clicking and the mandibles, but and the cloaking and the heat vision. All that. It is a Predator movie, but it's a good one, and it stands for itself. I don't like it more than the first two. First one, masterpiece, and the second one is my personal favorite Predator movie. I just like it a lot. Something about it just really clicks for me. But I'm more than happy ranking this third. Technically, I think it's better than Predator 2, but I like Predator 2 more than Predator, and Predator is just, it's all the way up there, like, objectively. So, yeah, that's about it.